Well, you have to definitely listen to the music that inspires you. You have to figure out what music inspires you. I think what flamenco, there's so much flamenco, so many different types of flamenco. You've got to really investigate that. And then have a routine. You've got to have a routine. As a guitarist, this instrument is so unforgiving, you know, it just won't let you. Constantly, all the time, you're constantly learning to live with it, I suppose, you know. And you've got to have a routine where you wake up, get your exercises done, do that as for an hour, 2 hours, and then consider practicing.
Right. So exercises, an hour too.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to go through that especially on these guitars they're not plugged in. So you've got to learn how to get the sound out of the instrument, and that's a very important part of playing. And listening to as much as you can.
Yeah. Live or records or
everything, live records, whatever you can get. You've got to figure out what you really enjoy. That way, it just becomes so much easier to learn. You know, the technique you're not really going to enjoy that. But that's kind of like becoming uncomfortable and not knowing, getting ready to be a guitarist. Guitarists, you know, they say pasan fatiga. You know, it's like you're really all the time you're performing. It's a constant like, oof, get ready. There's nothing, you know. Being nervous as a guitarist is horrible. It's a horrible thing. You got to be as prepared as you can be. And then, I mean, with the instrument, but then you got to be prepared for whatever you're playing, like what it means, what story it's telling, how to express that, and be comfortable with yourself. And it becomes, you know, the instrument kind of teaches you how to be still, how to be silent, how to listen. It's that type of instrument. These guitars, once you plug in, it becomes another world there as well. You know, in flamenco, I think it's been a little bit overcomplicated. The whole notion of compás and 12, 1, 2, 3, that whole thing. I mean, yeah, but it's also, you've got to be able to just keep that feel where that's going. I think that's extremely important. Well, in flamenco it is, and in most music, it's, you know, the most important thing. The rhythm, how you're putting it in, it sort of tells you where to go, gives you the temperament of things. So I lean it towards that. So when I teach, for example, a picado warm-up exercise, I won't do, so it does this, and so you're just walking out, basically walking like that. I sort of teach a little bit where if you have a metronome, just go any way you want, just leave it. Do it in bursts, so it sort of works with the rhythm. It plays against it. You kind of struggle with it a little bit until you find that sweet spot where it's basically you can play whatever you want and you're going to be in time. That type of stuff works for flamenco, works for everything. It's just basically freeing up your hands and learning the specific technique, picado technique, which is, you know, some guitarists can do it straight away. They've got a fantastic picado. And the rest of us have to really work really hard at it, you know. It's such a, you got to be as accurate as possible, as quick as possible, and as loose as possible. So it's difficult. There's so many factors, you know. You can have a nail that it's just something's wrong with it. A little tiny bit, that's going to throw you off. And you're talking about micromillimeters, you know, like nothing. And all of a sudden that's clicking on something and bye-bye, you know. I think the most important thing was, if you're going to learn a piece, which eventually you do, that's what happens. Treat those pieces as practice pieces. So you don't actually perform them. They're actually things that you learn off. So if you learn for solear, a basic solear is, then you got to make it yours. That's the most important advice I think I've ever received. And it was just, because that way you can flow it however you want. Still got to be in compás, still got to sound like soleil, still use the thumb, but the thumb, like the picao and like many other techniques here, it's not just one thumb or one picao. It depends what you're playing, how you use it. So the more you get comfortable playing your stuff, the better your technique becomes.